We're having a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction at the moment with Mr. Weinreich doing his top button up as we prepare for this week's show, which is the stories I told my son. It's the Power of One today. How has your week been, Reggie?
Wonderful. Couldn't be better.
What did you get up to?
Got up in the morning, got on the balcony, look at the sky, beautiful, sunny, blue skies, and I go down for a walk, I meet people, and they smile, and they say good morning. Wonderful country, very friendly, what do you say, my mates.
So it's interesting because we often forget actually the importance of, where's Astro Boy today? The importance of, hi Bruce, over there in Wisconsin, not Wisconsin. Anyway, hello, lovely to speak to you. I see you. So we're doing the show, The Power of One today, and it's interesting because we're right in the juncture of also editing a really, really tough chapter of your memoir, The Stories I Told My Son.
Right.
So this one was called No Place Like Home. And it was a tough one. Really, really tough one. But we got through it. Took 2 weeks to edit, and with your audio and everything. And I have to tell you, quite a brave young man you were at 12 and a half years old.
Oh.
When the war broke out. Talking about the power of one, wow.
I stopped being a boy and I become a man overnight.
It's incredible.
Yes.
So I want to ask you this. Everybody at the moment is talking about the power of one, self-belief. One of the things I want to be doing is drawing your golden nuggets of wisdom as we prepare the book for publication, to be published. So tell me something. What skills did you actually need to survive the Holocaust? I mean, just to put things in perspective, the chapter that I was editing today was, and through the last 2 weeks, was very visual and graphic descriptions of what the Nazis got up to with regard to the persecution of gays, Jews, gypsies, people who were invalids. So how did you survive? What were your skills?
My skills was one word, emunah. Emunah in Hebrew means trust. It is beyond belief.
Is that what it was? Was it beyond belief?
Yes, it is beyond faith. It's something which is in you and you believe in it.
Because I suppose when you were escaping, when you were on your exodus out of Kshanov, going east to trying to escape with your lives, it wasn't a very optimistic picture, was it?
Yeah, no.
How did you remain optimistic?
Because I believe, emunah, I believe that I'm going to survive. So
when you're talking about the power of one, does that mean you don't even entertain anything other than what you see for your reality? Is that right?
Yeah.
So you're not seeing anything else, even if it's not reality, you're not seeing it unless it's what you picture for yourself.
Exactly right.
So there's no room for any doubt, any pessimism. But people are being killed left, right, and centre around you. Yeah. How did you avoid not getting depressed? You know, today people are on all sorts of drugs for depression, right? You were on any drugs for depression. How did you remain buoyant? 12 and a half year old boy.
When I saw people who are depressed and they lost emunah,
their faith in life, yeah.
So I knew they had finished. I had to pull myself up and believe that I'm going to survive. So
you're saying to me, in a way, your energy is gotten from not being how other people were around you?
No.
Was there a lot of depression around you? Were people a lot of despair?
Yes.
We never talked about this in the book, but what did you see? What did you see in people that you knew that it was a goner?
Right. When we were running away, we were running fast.
For your lives?
Yeah. To the east, right? Because the Nazis were on tail. Mm-hmm. Some people sat down and said, well, I'm not going to further because
They're going to catch up with me anyway.
They kill me here. There's no point in me running, and they stopped.
They actually stopped in their tracks. No trust, gone.
Gone.
How many people like that did you see around you?
Not many, but there were.
So even against all odds, I mean, there were, massive tanks, Messerschmitt planes, they were grenade bombing you, they were submachine gunning you,
we were trying to run away as quickly as possible, and we were trusting people which were Hasidic, religious. They were trusting in God. The people which not so religious, they trusting themselves.
And which one were you?
Unfortunately.
Which one were you, Reggie? Come on, true confessions.
Second category.
Option B.
Yeah.
So self-belief, which is the power of one.
Yeah.
So when you were running and you saw the Messerschmitts, they were coming low, you could see
I could see the pilot smiling.
As they were going,
they were enjoying killing people. They were enjoying to kill Jews.
How did you reconcile that with your power of one? Like if you were up against a massive modern army that was out to rule Europe and the world,
so that shows you the power of one.
The power of one, yeah.
Hitler was one.
That's true too.
And from Hitler, it became nationwide.
So the power of one does exist. It takes one. And that actually is bullying, isn't it?
Yeah.
The power of one to make another person's life miserable and other people and then other people. Well, actually, just so you guys know, so that's part of Emunah, which is a Kabbalistic, Hasidic, spiritualistic tenet of Judaism. It's one of the roads. I looked up the root Emunah, and in Hebrew it means Amen. And Amen is an affirmation of it is so. So it actually goes beyond reason. You are not reasoning, Reggie.
It is beyond belief.
Beyond belief and beyond reason.
And beyond faith.
So it's trust.
Trust.
Okay, Reggie, I'll accept that. We're looking at our notes because we practiced. What empowered you to, hold on, not that one. Hold on, everybody. That's question 3. How did you empower yourself? So you were in a very, very religious, Hasidic, there were what? Of the 20,000 people in your village, how many people were Jewish?
There wasn't a village, a shtetl.
A little town.
50,000 Jewish.
15,000. And how strict was it? I mean, there were guidelines, there were very strict ways of doing things, right?
I didn't think it was strict, it was normal.
But it was very definite ways of doing
yes.
things. And one of them was you didn't question authority.
I did.
You did?
You did. I did.
So how did you empower yourself? Give me an example of when you were a little boy in the shtetl. How did you empower yourself?
I told you the story. I went to Haida.
Haida is like
school.
After school intensive Torah learning, okay,
yes.
Bible learning.
Yeah, because in the morning it was Polish school.
Yeah, and the afternoon?
And at 3 o'clock
was religious studies.
A religious study, and there was a teacher, right? And I told Lillian we were sitting.
Lillian's my sister, yes.
We were sitting so tight, even the sardines would feel
squeezed.
Sardines
would feel squeezed.
And the conditions in the room
were appalling.
Not Paris.
Wasn't Paris. Okay.
It was,
So you were there. How old were you? From what age?
What age?
7,
from
8?
7.
7 years old.
No, sorry, 7 years old.
Right.
And the teacher was somehow cruel, because later on in life I found out. I thought myself, why was he cruel? Jewish children, what are you
cruel about? Yeah.
Because he didn't have enough to live on.
And also probably he was the lowest of the rabbis.
Right.
and he didn't make it in his career, so he had to look after you little pishers, and so he was
cruel.
resentful.
Yeah.
He was poor and he was resentful.
Yes.
So
And-
therefore he was very cruel.
And I didn't like him one bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at one stage I told you the story. He said it wasn't the Torah.
So you're going through like the biblical studies, and
Yeah.
it was always with riddles, right?
Yes.
So it's like
it says
it went like this.
two people.
With two people,
Schnaaien mochten met alles.
the talent.
Two people are finding a talent in the street. What they do?
Okay, so when two people find a talus in the street and it's one talus, what do?
And talus mean talus and clothing.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do they? So the
So
rabbi
they-
said they should cut it in half.
So what we do when we can't find out the person, we cut it in half.
And one person gets half.
One person gets half and the other person
So I
gets the other half.
put my hand up.
Yeah.
And I said to him, why do they have to spoil a
A
garment?
good garment, yeah.
So what you should do, go to the synagogue and put it on the table, and people are honest, and
The right person who lost the thing will pick it up and you don't have to destroy it.
and he pulled me by the ear.
So he didn't like it.
He didn't like it
Did he start shouting
because
at you?
I was against what he said.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So did he start shouting?
I put my head up. And
Did he after you answered the answer he didn't like?
I could. What
do you say?
What did you say? It's against the religion, against the Torah. And I said, that's my belief, right? And he pulled my
How old? 7 or 8 years old.
pulled me by the ear. I jumped out
How hard did he pull you by the ear?
very hard.
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, go.
Like ear operation hard.
Yeah. And I jumped out.
Yeah.
And I kicked him so hard in the legs. And my father made me a pair of shoes for soccer. And at the end of it was steel.
You kicked him in, so you gave him an equal dose.
Twice. And he was screaming, and I ran home. And I told my father what happened. And I saw my father turning around, smiling.
So in other words,
good on you.
so how you empowered yourself was you took things on face value. Even at 7 or 8.
Yeah, I didn't. Again, not trust because it was not.
It wasn't justice for you.
It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair.
But you were taught all your life not to
but I had
question.
not to question. But I had my opinion.
So then my question to you is, how does somebody empower themselves today? What's the secret? What's the secret to empower yourself? Be independent, right?
Be independent and be honest and be just.
And don't take things as you see or hear them.
Nothing. You
Find out for yourself.
Find out yourself. And if you've got a dispute with your friend, it is okay. You can have your own opinion, and the person has an opinion, but be polite and nice about it.
That's the thing. Be polite and nice, right?
Polite
You don't
and
have to
nice.
be rude about it.
No.
That's really interesting.
You have got a right to have your opinion about it.
But you don't have the right to be nasty about it.
Not at all.
Very good, Reggie. What's in our notes now? By the way, just a little. So I was looking up people and what their definition of the power of one. So Stephen Jobs, who's very, very famous, the IT guy who did Apple, Mr. Apple himself, he said that actually there's a really big difference with people, that there's a big distinction between everyday people and distinctive people. And there are 3 things to it. Number 1 is work really hard. Hard work. Number 2, questions. Always ask questions. And number 3, a belief in yourself. So that's what he said.
He's absolutely right. but I have got more to add to it. Right. If a person is well off and he's your friend, he doesn't need you. But if his person is badly off, he's lost his job, so his wife, his child is sick, that was the one I tried to pull up.
So you're talking now about how do you impact with the power of one on a daily basis. So do you remember when I was at school and I was a young kid, you said exactly that to me. And you said to me, you don't, and I was like, I want to be friends, I want to be popular. And you're like, popular? What do you need to be popular for? The people that are popular have plenty of friends.
Yeah.
They're happy,
That's
they're
exactly.
absolutely comfortable.
Absolutely.
You don't need to
Yeah,
be popular.
yeah.
What you need is to make friends with those that need
you badly.
that need your friendship.
Last Saturday, right? Somebody told me, which was sitting there next to me in the synagogue, this fellow has got a problem. What problem has he got? His wife is very sick. I immediately got up in chair and I introduced myself. And he said, I know you because I've seen it.
Everybody knows you.
Yeah,
Reggie.
right. What you do, you talk to the doctor, and there is a clinic. I'm sure there is a clinic. I read in the newspaper, I've seen in television, they can help your wife.
So you
Take it tomorrow morning.
So you make it a priority
Yeah,
to help people that are down.
yeah, because people which are up, don't blame me.
It's interesting, but also what's interesting, which I've noticed what you do, is you just speak to anybody on the street, don't you?
I love people, and I love to find out how they are, and what they're doing. And for instance, yesterday.
So we're talking, just for those people that joined us, welcome to the Reggie and Henry show. We're talking about the power of one, and we're talking about emunah, which is trust. Number two, how you empowered yourself, which is a belief in your own independence. And number three, how you impact on people on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Why do you speak to everybody in the street? Everybody.
Yeah. We went to Paris, the Parisi have
Coffee shop, yeah.
Coffee shop. And I saw two women, and very unhappy. She
was not happy.
Right. So you know what I did?
What?
I went up. He said, "You have got beautiful shoes. Where did you buy it?" And she was smiling.
So you cut through. So your goal every day is to touch somebody.
I like people, and I like to help people if they're in trouble. If you see that on their faces, if they're not
But
happy.
sometimes that backfires. Sometimes, has it ever backfired on you?
Not.
Aha.
Not,
True confessions. When has it backfired on you?
no.
Rich.
Not,
You can't. Not everybody
Not
who's a
at all.
complete stranger, especially in Sydney, which is a little bit standoffish. People are very stressed. Love, but a complete stranger.
Mommy didn't like it.
Your wife doesn't like it, but
Why didn't like? She didn't like something. We were going.
no, I'm talking about the person who's a complete stranger. You
I'm talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
and they didn't like your comment, right? Or mum didn't like your comment.
Mum.
No. I'm asking you something different. Don't shirk away from it. I'm asking you, every person that is a stranger to you, that you try and touch base with and try and cut the ice, they can't always love it.
I don't say they're strangers. They're friends.
People you've never seen in your life. It's a fantastic.
Friends.
So every single person in your life so far who has been your friend, no problem.
Mommy didn't like the other day.
I'm asking you,
Yeah.
not mum, not your wife. I'm asking you, them, the public, all your friends, like that you introduce yourself. You've never met them before. Not everybody. What do you do when somebody doesn't react well?
It happens sometimes. Especially on the second match. If
On the soccer match,
I
yeah.
like my team, Sydney FC, football match. And if they doing something well, you know, I clap and clap and clap, and the fellow, which is in the opposite team, screams at me, you know.
Yeah, but that's different. What about when you walk down the street? I've seen you countless times. Not everybody can be in a good mood after that, right? Are they mainly?
After I speak to them, or
They
I
have to
smile,
be. What's your secret? What's your secret of breaking through? What is your secret?
No,
Tell me.
I like people.
But
right?
besides liking people,
Right, look,
we're talking about the
right,
power of
right,
one.
yeah,
Look,
the power.
how do you touch people like that?
I told you before. For 5 years I was crying during the war, and I decided no more crying. Now the world is beautiful. I came
The
to
world is
Australia.
beautiful.
I came to Australia.
But
The
what
first thing I saw is people smiling and happy.
And you decided to
Yeah,
smile,
you know, and everybody is mate.
and that's what you picked up. So so you're oblivious when a person doesn't react well to you. You're just like, not my friend. Actually, it wasn't my. I mistook that person wasn't my friend.
It's not my cycle.
I tell you what, but the beautiful thing is, you don't always remember everybody's name. So then you walk down the street and hello, 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 hello. And then at the end of it, I'm like, did you know who these people were?
No.
I know them visually, but I wouldn't know their name. I love it. It's fantastic. So we're gonna round it up. I think today was an interesting one because there had to be something of a higher order that we have to institute. I have to institute in my own life. I can get depressed. I can get down, and the point is that means, as Steve Jobs says, you have to believe in yourself 100%. In other words, you had no cracks. No cracks.
You've got no reason and no right to be depressed in this country.
Or wherever you live, not just Australia, wherever you live, it's home.
Yeah. Then it kicks in what I said. You pull them up.
So you have to sometimes pull yourself up.
Yeah. You pull them.
Have you ever had to pull yourself up? Have you ever felt that you've gone down a hole of depression,
Yeah,
maybe?
yes.
And how did you pull yourself up?
And I said to look, it was, you know,
Whatever the situation,
what a situation is.
but you were down.
Just a minute. If a person in our religion passes away, you say Baruch Atah Adayin. God is the supreme judge.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened, right? And you believe
It was for the good, better.
in
It's
this
for the-
other life, you'll go to paradise and you will look after us.
But my question to you is,
Yeah.
generally, day-to-day stuff,
Yes.
have you been down in your life?
No.
Never in
no.
your life?
The only time,
Reg.
look, the only time I was really depressed.
You don't have to say in detail.
Yeah,
But
when
what
I
you-
came back after war, and I went to Auschwitz, and then I was depressed because I felt my father and brother.
So 1 minute. So when this is 30 years after the war, when you went back to Auschwitz, or during the war, just straight after the war.
Straight after the war, when I come first to Poland, right?
So when you went to visit Auschwitz,
Then I was depressed.
how did that manifest? How were you?
Because
What did that mean for you?
the people were so just and so beautiful and so helpful to other people. Why did the Hitler kill them? Why?
You couldn't reconcile it.
I couldn't reconcile it.
How long were you depressed for? You never told me this. How long?
It took me quite a while.
To pull yourself together?
Yeah, because on top of it else, right? My brother Moshe had a friend in Poland, you know, in Luksanov, and he survived. And as it happened, I met him in Sydney, and he told me exactly how my brother died.
Which we won't say right now.
Right.
But what we're saying is, how did you pull yourself up?
So I pulled myself up, and
What did you say to yourself?
and I said to myself, probably God was merciful, and He took them up, and they are sitting in Gan Eden, in paradise.
But for you yourself, because you're here on planet Earth, and you have to deal on a daily basis at that time with your depression, what did you say to yourself? How did you get yourself out?
Yeah, I said to myself, I'm sure that my brother and my father that doesn't want me to depress.
Doesn't want me to be depressed.
They don't want me to depress. They want me to lead a normal life and think they are in a better place than heaven.
So you motivated yourself for the good of what they wanted for you.
Yes.
Unbelievable. That's the first time we've ever spoken about that, you know. Right.
That's
well,
the first time I asked me.
Unbelievable. Well, just to give you guys a brief update, thank you so much for joining us. We are on Sundays at 11 o'clock, which is actually 9 p.m. in New York City. And now the time is obviously later than that. And it happens to be London, 2 a.m. in the morning, Sunday morning. That's how time is. But just very quickly, we're actually progressing very, very well. After this morning, you and I sitting down to No Place Like Home, which is actually the opening chapter of your memoir. We do it in different sections. It's a massive one. We're going to go down the road, have a breather for a second, print it all out, because this will be the pre-final draft. And then it goes to New York for editing, comes back to Sydney for one last go through, and then that's put in the vault. So we're getting closer and closer, Mr. Weinreich.
Wonderful.
People all ask me, when will this be finished? And you know what I say?
Mommy told him this morning, go and enjoy yourself with your son. You've got him on your own, nobody disturbs you. And I said to Mommy, look, thank you very much, but it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy with me. Of course, nothing's easy with me.
No.
The whole
story.
It's very uneasy. But I have to say, it's tough. Well, we're living it. We're actually, you and I are physically there. Right. I can see you, I can hear you.
I know I have to come Sunday morning, I come to you at 10 o'clock. At night time, before, last night, I don't sleep well.
Yeah. Well, today's going to be a tough one, but you're a very brave man. It is going to be a tough one. And I have to say, it's quite extraordinary. Anyway, thank you all very much. The book is progressing, the memoir. Some amazing stuff is coming through. Thank you again. Would you like to say goodbye, Mr. Weinreich?
Au revoir.
Thank you very much. Until next week, bye for now.
До свидания.
Bye.